हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे चैनल इग्नो सेंटर पर। तो दोस्तों, आज का जो समरी हम डील करने जा रहे हैं वो समरी रहेगा आपका अ पैसेज टू इंडिया बाय E.M. फोस्टर। और ये समरी आपको नोट्स में मिलेगा, क्योंकि आप सभी को पता है कि समरी का शॉर्ट वीडियो तो कोई भी डाल देता है, लेकिन जो आपको चाहिए वो है नोट्स। तो हम स्टूडेंट लोग को जो चाहिए वो है नोट्स। तो दोस्तों, ये जो समरी का नोट्स है वो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं। टू इंग्लिश वुमेन, द यंग मिस एडेला क्वेस्ट एंड द elderly Mrs. Mori travel to India. Adela expects to become engaged to Mrs. Mori's son, Ronnie, a British magistrate in the Indian city of Chandrapur. Adela and Mrs. Mori each hope to see the real Indian during their visit, rather than cultural institution imported by the British. At the same time, Aziz, a young Muslim doctor in India, is increasingly frustrated by the poor treatment he received at the hand of the English. Aziz is especially annoyed with Major Calendar, the civil surgeon, who has a tendency to summon Aziz for frivolous reason in the middle of dinner. Aziz and two of his educated friends, Hamidullah and Muhammad Ali, hold a lively conversation about whether or not an Indian can be friend with an Englishman in India. That night, Mr. Mori and Aziz happen to run into each other while exploring a local mosque, and the two become friendly. Aziz is moved and surprised that an English person would treat him like a friend. Mr. Thornton, the collector who governor Chandrapur, hosts a party so that Ijila and Mrs. Mori may have the opportunity to meet someone of the more prominent and wealthy Indians in the city. At the event, which proves to be rather awful, awkward, Adela meets Siring Fieldy, the principal of the government college in Chandrapur. Fielding, impressed with Adela's open friendliness to the Indians, invite her and Mrs. Mori to tea with him and the Hindu professor Godbole. At Adela's request, Fielding invites Aziz to the tea as well. At the tea, Aziz and Fielding immediately become friendly, and the afternoon is overwhelmingly pleasant until Rooney, his slope, arrive and rudely interrupt the party. Later that evening, Adela tells Rooney that she has decided not to marry him, but that night the two are in a car accident together, and the excitement over the event caused Adela to change her mind about the marriage. Not long afterward, Aziz organized an expedition to the nearby Marabal Caves for those who attend Fielding tea. Fielding and Professor Godbole missed the train to Malabar, so Aziz continued on alone with the two ladies, Adela and Mrs. Murray. Inside one of the caves, Mrs. Murray is unnerved by the enclosed space, which is crowded with Aziz's retinue, and by the uncanny echo that seems to translate every sound she makes into the noise bloom. Aziz, Adela, and a guide on go on to the higher caves while Mrs. Mori waits below. Adela, suddenly realizing that she does not love Ronnie, asks Aziz whether he has more than one wife, a question he considered offensive. Ajit stormed off into a cave, and when he returned, Adela is gone. Ajit scolded the guide for losing Adela, and the guide ran away. Ajit finds Adela broken field grasses and head down the hill. Back at the picnic site, Aziz finds Fielding wait for him. Aziz is unconcerned to learn that Adela has hastily taken a car back to Chandrapur, as he is overjoyed to see Fielding back in Chandrapur. However, Aziz is unexpectedly arrested. He is charged with attempting to rape Adela Quest while she was in the cave, a charge based on a claim Adela herself has made. Fielding believes Aziz to be innocent, angers all of the British India by joining the Indians in Aziz's defense. In the week before the trial, the racial tension between the Indians and the English flare up considerably. Mrs. Mori is distraught and miserable because of her memory of the echo in the cave and because of her impatience with the upcoming trial. Adela is emotional and ill. She too seems to suffer from an echo in her mind. Ronnie is fed up with Mrs. Murray's lack of support for Adela, and it is agreed that Mrs. Murray will return to England earlier than planned. Mrs. Murray dies on the voyage back to England, but not before she realizes that there is no real India, but rather a complex multitude of different Indias. At Ajiz's trial, Adila under oath is questioned about what happened in the caves. Shockingly, she declares that she has made a mistake. Aziz is not the person or thing that attacked her in the cave. Aziz is set free and Fielding escorts Adila to the government college, where she spent the next several weeks. Fielding begins to respect Adila, recognizing her bravery in standing against her peers to pronounce Aziz innocent. Ronnie breaks off his engagement to Adila and she returns to England. Aziz, however, is angry that Fielding would be friend Adela after she nearly ruined Aziz's life, and the friendship between the two men suffer as a consequence. Then Fielding sailed for a visit to England. Aziz declared that he is done with the English and that he intends to move to a place where he will not have to counter them. 2 years later, Aziz has become the chief doctor to the Raja of Mau, a Hindu region several hundred miles from Chandrapur. He has heard that Fielding married Adela shortly after returning to England. Aziz now virtually hates all English people. One day, walking through the old temple with his three children, he encountered Fielding and his brother-in-law. Aziz is surprised to learn that the brother-in-law name is Raphael Mori. It turns out that Fielding married not Adela Quest but Stella Mori, Mrs. Mori's daughter from her second marriage. Aziz befriends Raphael after he accidentally runs his robot into Fielding. Aziz renews his friendship with Fielding as well. The two men go for a final ride together before Fielding leaves, during which Aziz tells Fielding that once the English are out of India, the two will be able to be friends. Fielding asks why they cannot be friends now, when they both want to be, but the sky and the earth seems to say no, not yet, no, not there. So friends, till here our summary was finished, and here are some characters which are important for you. Uh, the character lists are Dr. Aziz, the main plot or the main protagonist of the character, and as we discussed, they were Mrs. Mori, Adela Quest, and all of the characters as discussed on the above summary. So friends, hope you all understand the summary and get help from the summary notes. Thank you, and please make subscribe, likes and share so that the one who needed the notes was also get help from this video, and the one who are new to my channel, please subscribe the bell icon so that we never miss the update which I'll upload it on later. Thank you.